Da-dum. Da-dum. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. MEG 2, The Trench. Let's get into it. It's really warm in that thing. MEG 2, The Trench, directed by Ben Wheatley. Yes, that Ben Wheatley, director of Kill List and High Rise, Sightseers, A Field in England, you know, low budget, independent cinema guy, Ben Wheatley, directed MEG 2, The Trench. So that's a weird one to begin with, but you know, could have been good news. You never know. When it was first announced that Ben Wheatley was directing the MEG 2, I think everyone was like, "What?" But you know, maybe that means good things for the MEG 2. The first one was fairly well received. Let's see how this one went. MEG 2, The Trench, picks up a few years after the events of the original MEG, of the first MEG movie. Jason Statham is back as a ocean diver rescuer guy. Jonas Taylor, I think, is his last name. So he's back doing his thing, doing his rescuing, you know, deep sea diving thing. He's basically Aquaman without the superpowers and without the hair. Sorry, big man. Jason Statham is back along with a few characters from the first movie. Chiefly, we've got Cliff Curtis's Mac, I think his name is. You know, the kind of like the manager boss type guy of the ocean rig company thing. The wee girl from the first movie is back as well, although she's now like a teenager. One or two other characters are back from the first movie, and there's one or two notable exceptions who are not back from the first movie, but I'll not mention who they are, although you can probably guess because I've told you who is back. But yeah, so that's part of the story as to why they're not back, so I'm not going to go too much into that. So we pick up a few years after the events of the first movie. The guys are doing their deep sea diving thing. There is an onshore kind of like ocean exploratory type place that they use as their base, and then they take their subs out to the trench, and thanks to, you know, the mumbo jumbo of the thermal layer and things like that, things are relatively safe. They can go down, do their exploring, and everything's fine. Until it isn't. Something happens, this thing happens, these people do this, then that, and before you know it, the STATH and his pals are trapped at the bottom of the ocean. They have to get from A to B. They have to do a thing, to catch a thing, to open a thing, to save a thing. All the meanwhile, they have to avoid, obviously, a bunch of MEGs of varying sizes, maybe a few other creatures of varying sizes and danger, as well as a few humans of various sizes and danger as well. So plot-wise, that's pretty much it, but people don't go to see a movie like this for the plot. People go and see a movie like this for the sharks, for the shark action. Sharktion? Yeah, people go and see a movie like this because it's a shark movie. People want to see Jason Statham versus a giant shark. And do we get that? Yes, but it's not enough. Let's address the elephant in the room, or the shark in the pool, if you will. There is not enough shark in this shark movie. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with it. The first 10 minutes or so, there's a bit of shark action. The last 10 minutes or so, there's a bit of shark action. But like the hour or so in the middle, this film suffers from a huge identity crisis. It kind of forgets that it's a shark movie. I'm not sure what happened to the sharks and where they went to for most of this movie. Maybe they're on strike? Is that a joke I'm allowed to make? Apologies to, you know, SAG and everyone. The middle stretch of this movie, or, you know, most of this movie, as I said, that middle hour or so where it forgets it's a shark movie, it tries to be, you know, The Lost World, Jurassic Park. It tries to be The Abyss. It tries to be Die Hard. And when I say it tries to be these movies, it borrows from these movies. And when I say it borrows from these movies, there's literally like shot for shot, beat for beat, scene for scene homages / rip-offs of these movies. But the problem is it doesn't come anywhere close to the quality of the movies that it's trying to emulate / rip off. The tongue-in-cheek charm of the first movie is gone. It's completely AWOL in the second one, in MEG 2, The Trench. Some of the dialogue is just cringe-worthy. Now, admittedly, it's not like the dialogue in the script in the first movie was, you know, amazing. But yeah, some of the dialogue in this movie is just really, really bad. The CGI is at least decent enough. That's one positive thing I can say about this movie. And spoilers, yes, we do get to see Jason Statham versus a giant shark. but we don't get to see enough of it, and what we do get to see is already shown in the trailer. That's one of the huge problems with this movie. All of the best bits, and I mean all of the best bits, are in the trailer, which is a problem, because if you've seen the trailer, there's no point in going to see this movie. It's not worth your time, sadly. It's a shame. The first one was received quite well. My 6-year-old is shark obsessed. She loves shark movies. She was very excited to see this movie. Her big sister even made her a MEG 2 t-shirt, because they don't sell MEG 2 t-shirts in 6-year-old sizes, because why would they? Why would a parent let their child go and see a giant shark movie? The Stath is the Stath, and he's suitably Stathy in this movie. But yeah, it just forgets that it's a shark movie for, 80% of its runtime. And that's, a problem when your movie is called The Meg. The poster is a giant shark. Where are the giant sharks? Not enough. So 5 out of 10 for Meg 2, The Trench. My daughter also gave it 5 out of 10, and she loves shark movies, but she was quite disappointed with this one as well. She even said Jaws 3D was better than Meg 2. I don't know if I would go that far, but yeah, maybe that gives you an idea of how bad this movie is. It tries to be a little bit Die Hard, a little bit Jurassic Park, a little bit The Abyss, a little bit Jaws 2 specifically, but it fails to be any of them, and it fails to be anything remotely as good as them. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for Meg 2, The Trench. And speaking of Jurassic Park, if you'd like to see an unboxing of one of my Jurassic Park collectible sets, you can click here, and I'll see you in the next video.